Shalom, all praise to Yahweh Shah, double honor to the apostles of GMS. I'm Nawala coming at you with another video. In this video, I'm going to be going to the book of Acts, the 10th chapter, 11th verse, and I'm going to start from verse 9. Get right to it. It says, Acts chapter 10, verse 9. On the morrow, as they went on their journey, the day is talking about two of Cornelius' household servants. Two of Cornelius' household servants that were sent to Joppa to look for Peter, which was told to Cornelius in a dream, which was told for Cornelius to do so in a dream that he got from an angel. So it says Acts 10:9, on the morrow as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour, and he became very hungry and would have eaten. While they made ready, he fell into a trance. So Peter was very hungry, physically hungry, and he would have eaten. And it said that he fell into a trance. Got that word trance.
Strong's G1611. Ecstasy.
Ecstasy. Sounds like the word ecstasy, right? Ecstasy. And it says, a throwing of the mind out of its normal state. Alienation of mind, whether such as makes a lunatic. So that's not it. Let's go down. Or we keep reading. Or that of a man who by some sudden emotion is transported as it were out of himself, so that in this rapt condition, although he is awake, his mind is drawn off from all surrounding objects and wholly fixed, wholly meaning completely. WHOLY meaning completely. When something is whole is complete. Wholly fixed on things divine, that he sees nothing but the forms and images lying within, and things that he perceives with his bodily eyes and ears, realities shown unto him by the Most High. So what the apostle Peter is seeing is a vision. He's seeing a vision. Everything else around him has basically been blocked out, and his mind it says all surrounding objects. His mind is drawn off of all surrounding objects and completely fixed on those divine, and he sees nothing but the forms and images lying within. So the only thing he sees is the vision that's before him. He doesn't see anything else around him. Something like when like the book of Revelation, when John was getting all them different revelations. Amazement, the state of one who, either owing to the importance or the novelty of an event, is thrown into a state of blended fear and wonderment. So let's go back. It says he fell into a trance. So he was seeing a vision. His mind was blocked out of all surrounding objects, and his mind was fixed on the vision that the Most High was given. And I saw heaven opened, and a certain vessel descended unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners and let down to the earth. So it says a certain vessel descended unto him. He saw heaven opened, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners and let down to the earth. So what Peter saw was he saw heaven open, and he saw what came down from heaven was a great sheet that was knit at four corners, let down to the earth. Now what is this talking about? Okay, what is this great sheet that was knit at the four corners that the apostle Peter saw? It says, wherein were all men of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. So that's what it was that he saw. He saw a great sheet that was knit at the four corners, and he saw all men of four-footed beasts of the earth, wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. So a sheet came down from heaven, and he saw all these different creatures. All types of four-footed beasts of the earth was on this sheet that came down from heaven. So he wasn't actually telling. So this is all spiritual. He's actually seeing these things in the vision, but it's spiritual because it's symbolic of something. Why would you see all types of four-footed beasts, creeping things, and wild beasts, and fowls of the air come out of heaven on a great sheet? Because it's symbolic of something. These animals represent something. It says, and there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, kill and eat. So then Peter heard a voice that told him, rise, kill and eat. Kill these animals and eat them. Kill all these men of four-footed beasts and wild beasts and creepy things and fowls of the air. Kill them and eat them. That's what he's being told. But then Peter responded, but Peter said, not so, my Lord. Peter said, not so, Lord. 1 second. Okay. But Peter said, not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. So Peter said, I've never eaten anything common or unclean. Let's see what that means. And we're going to break all of this down.
Strong's G 2839. Koidos. Koinos.
Koidos. Common. Common, i.e. ordinary, belonging to generality, but the Jews unhallowed, profane, Levitically unclean. Now, he said, I have not eaten anything common or unclean. Because in the Levitical law, we can't eat any common animal. Meaning we couldn't eat any general animal, any old animal that we wanted. There was a certain type of animal that we could eat according to Levitical law. So that was just common. It's talking about any common animal, any general animal. In other words, we couldn't just eat any animal we wanted. We couldn't eat the common beast. We could only eat beast that chewed through the cud, beast that was cloven footed. Those are the animals that we ate. Along with other kinds of animals as well. But those are some of the animals that we could eat. We couldn't eat lions. We couldn't eat dogs. We couldn't eat tigers and things of that nature. All right. It says, Acts 10:15. It says, and the voice spake. You had to eat the animals that had a divided hoof, that was, cloven footed, that divided hoof. Well, I said that already. And that chewed through the cut. So Acts 10:15, along with other kind of animals as well. You can read about that in the book of Leviticus, the 11th chapter, and look that up yourself. Acts 10:15, and the voice spake unto him again the second time, what the Most High have cleansed, that call not thou common. So what the Most High have made clean, don't call it common. In other words, don't call it unclean. So we couldn't eat any common animal because we had unclean animals. We could only eat a certain amount of animals, a certain type of animal. So now let's break this down. I'm going to go back up to the first verse that I read. Well, verse 11. And I saw heaven opened, and a certain vessel descended unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners, and let down to the earth, wherein all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. Now these were not, Most High wasn't telling the Apostle Peter to actually eat these unclean animals. These unclean animals were representations of men. Let's break that. These animal representations of men. Let's keep reading. But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything common, ever eaten anything that is common or unclean. And that's how can we put these animals to more men? This is Psalms 32:9. Be not ye as the horse or as the mule, which have no understanding. What is a horse? An unclean four-footed beast. What is a mule? An unclean four-footed beast, which have no understanding. They're animals, they're beasts. They have no understanding. Whose mouth must be held in with bit and bridle, as to come near unto thee. So these unclean beasts that was on this great sheet knit, that came down from heaven, was not talking about actual beasts. They were talking about men. They were talking about men that were being compared to these unclean four-footed beasts, creeping things, fowls of the air, and wild beasts. Men who had no understanding. Just as a horse or a mule are four-footed unclean beasts that have no understanding. But who are these men that had no understanding? It was talking about the Israelite foreigners, which we'll get into that later. Let's go back. This is Acts 10 chapter. And Acts 10 chapter. And 15. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, but the Most High had cleansed, that call not thou common. So he's saying with the Most High cleansed, don't call common. Now some people out there gonna tell you, oh, that means that oh, you can eat pork now. Let's not talking about that. Those men were going to be cleansed. Those men that were like four-footed beasts, unclean four-footed beasts that had no understanding, those men were going to be cleansed. Cleansed through what? It was going to be cleansed through the word. All right? I think It's John 17:5, I think. 15:3. This is Yahushua speaking. John chapter 15, verse, go to the point. Verse 3. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. So those all men are four-footed unclean beasts. All men are four-footed beasts, wild beasts, creeping things, and fowls of heaven. Was not talking about actual real animals. It was comparing it to men who are unclean, like those four-footed beasts, wild beasts, creeping things, and fowls of the air. Yet the Most High said, yet what was said unto Peter was, what thou hast called not thou common, what the Most High has cleansed. Because those men who are unclean, like those four-footed beasts, going back to Psalm 32:9, be not as the host of you, which have no understanding. Those men were being compared to the unclean beasts that had no understanding, were going to be cleansed by the word, as we read in the book of John, chapter 15, verse 3. Let's go back to the book of Acts. Let's go back. All right. So now that we understand that, we're going to go back to the Israelite foreigners, and we're not going to forget about that. Let's go back to Acts 10. Let's go back up. Now it says Acts 10 and 12. Now, another thing that it said was, but I'm going to the point. Acts 10:13. It says, and there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, kill and eat. What was told to Peter was to rise, kill and eat. Rise, kill and eat meaning what? To teach them. To give them the wisdom, to give them knowledge. How can we prove that? Proverbs 9:1. It says, wisdom hath built her house. She hath hewn her 7 pillars. So wisdom is being compared into a house with 7 pillars. She hath killed her beast. She hath mingled her wine. She hath also furnished her table. So wisdom hath killed her beast. Does it mean wisdom actually kills animals? No, she hath killed the beast. She's talking about men. She hath mingled her wine, which wine is what references knowledge in the scriptures, to the word. She hath also furnished her table. Remember that great sheet that was knit, that came down from heaven? With all men of beasts on it? It's like a sheet being come down from heaven that's being laid upon the table. And on this table we have like a smorgasbord of animals. Wild beasts, four-footed beasts, fowls of the air, creeping things are placed on this table. But those animals are going to be killed with wisdom. That's why I say, wisdom hath built her house. She hath hewn her 7 pillars. She hath killed her beast. So those beasts that was being killed were not actual animals that were being killed, but it was men that were being compared to beasts that was being killed. In other words, what was being killed was that ignorant nature in them, like that of an animal. That's what the scripture said in the book of Psalm 32:9, be not as the host of them you that have no understanding. So the nature within them is being killed with wisdom, and he's bringing about a new man. Okay? Let's go back to Acts 10th chapter again. As a matter of fact, I think I got another scripture here. Okay. Now let's go back to Acts 10:11. See, I'm kind of like jumping around. I want to break it down this way. You know, Acts 10:11. And I saw heaven opened, and a certain vessel descended unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the 4 corners, and let down to the earth. That great, it said, knit down to the 4 corners, right? And let down to the earth. This is Deuteronomy 28:64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. This one is like foreigners, Acts 28:15. It says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I commanded this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So these are the curses that are going to come upon Israel and overtake Israel. Let's go to verse 64. One of the curses said, let's see what one of them said. Okay. Right here it says, Deuteronomy 28:64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even to the other. In other words, from one corner of the earth to the other. A corner, great sheet net, the 4 corners from one end to the other. And this shalt thou serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And now one of the curses that's going to be before Israel is going to be scattered among all nations. Okay. Even right here in Deuteronomy 32. And in 26 it says, I said I would scatter them into corners. I'll make the remembrance of them deceased among men. See? Talking about Israel. Were it not that I feared the wrath of the enemy, lest the adversary should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, our hand is high, and the Lord hath done all this. Have not done all this. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. See? Be not as the host of the mule which have no understanding. Okay? So that's basically the gist of it, what it's talking about. And I can give a quick overview on it. And I saw, it says, and saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descended unto him as it had been a great sheet at the four corners and let down to the earth. That's talking about the children of Israel who were scattered amongst the four corners of the earth, as we read in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. We just read that. As a matter of fact, let me get another scripture to prove that. John 11 and 52. Or something from 51. And this spake he, this is talking about Caiaphas, and this spake he, not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahweh should die for that nation. And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. That's talking about who? The Israelites. As read in the book of Deuteronomy 28, 64. Verse 12. Wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts and creeping things and fowls of the air. And that gives you what? All manner of four-footed beasts and creeping things and fowls of the air. That's talking about men being compared to these beasts. Psalms 32 and 9. Be ye not as the host of the mule which have no understanding. See, they were like men being compared. These horses and mules are being compared to those that have no understanding, or rather, men are being compared to horses and mules that have no understanding, whose mouth must be held in with bit and bridle, as they come near unto thee. So these are men being compared to these beasts, to these beasts. Beasts don't have the understanding that men have. Beasts weren't given laws, statutes, and commandments like men. And there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, kill and eat. And that takes you to what? Psalms 9, Proverbs 9 and 1. Wisdom hath built her a house, she hath hewn out 7 pillars. She hath killed the beast, she hath mingled her wine, she hath also furnished a table. So that was a furnished table that came down from heaven. It was a great sheet knit at four corners with all manner of four-footed beasts, wild beasts, creeping things, and fowls of the air. It was like a smorgasbord of animals. That was in a great sheet. And it was like a great sheet being laid down on the table before Peter. And Peter was told to eat these animals. But not actually eat them, but teach. Teach these men as being compared to the animal. Teach these men as being compared to these unclean four-footed beasts, like a host of mules, unclean four-footed beasts that have no understanding. These men have no understanding, therefore they're being compared to the beasts. So now you got to kill them. Wisdom have killed her beast, killing the animalistic or the carnal nature or beast-like nature in man, and bringing forth a new man. Okay. Matter of fact, see, the spirit gonna be going into it again. See, see, when I went to it, I kind of like broke it down from the bottom up, and I'm also gonna be going into it again from the top down. This is all the spirit. I've been done with this show already. I'm just going into it again. Ecclesiastes 3 and 18. I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that the Most High might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. Once again, men being compared to beasts. Okay? Now, if I haven't go to the word horse, I'm going to go to the word mule real quick. See what that says. Okay, don't give us nothing here.
Strong's H 6505. Pered.
So it's not really giving us nothing here.
Strong's H 5483. Sus.
Okay, it's not giving us nothing here. But you get the gist of it. Once again, it's men being compared to beast. Next verse in Acts. So rise, Peter, kill and eat, meaning what? To teach them. But Peter said, not so, Lord, for I've never eaten anything that is common or unclean. He thought he was actually being told to eat them because he didn't understand the vision. He didn't understand the trance that he was in. In other words, his mind was fixed on the divine images before him and not upon the objects of his surroundings. So when he said, when he was told to eat, he said, I have never, not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. All the Most High tell him to eat something unclean, man. He have never eaten anything common or unclean, because according to Levitical law, we couldn't eat any common animal. We couldn't eat any general animal. There was a restricted type of animal we had to eat. Animals that divided the hoof, animals that were cloven footed, and chewed to the cud, along with other kinds of animals. But those are the kind of animals that we could eat. We couldn't eat any common animal, any old animal. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, what the Most High have cleansed, call not thou common. Okay? What the Most High have cleansed, call not thou common. And we read in the book of, already read in the book of John 15:3, what the Most High have cleansed, call not thou common. So what does it say in John 15:3? Now ye are clean through the word I spoke unto you. Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. So the words will make you clean. Okay. So whatever you're trying to do is show you guys got somebody, motherfucker, talking loudest. I'm getting pissed off now, man. Excuse my language. Talking loud as hell. The dude's like 30 feet away from me. I can hear him all the way down the street. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to find something real quick. Trying to find something. See if I can find another scripture. And mind you, it tells you right here, Peter questioned what it meant. Okay? Peter questioned what it meant. It tells you that right here in the book of Acts 10:17. Now while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius, had made inquiries for Simon's house and stood before the gate. Alright? And that was the very meaning of it. Alright? It wasn't talking about none of this garbage, these church talking about you eat pork now. Ain't talking about no damn pork, man. You know? And one moment. With that I'm gonna close. Spirit had me go over it 2 times. But with that I'm gonna close. I hope you both learn something. And I'm gonna say shalom.